Howdy folks, Nathan here with the Fast Lane Car, and I have some really good news for you. Soon, all Americans will be able to get the hell out of their house and hit the road. It may take a few more months, but it's starting to happen. So the question is, what's the best touring vehicle you can use to go across the country and visit places you haven't seen in over a year? Well, I think I have it, and that's right behind me. It's the 2021 Honda Accord Hybrid Touring. I'm going to tell you all about it. 212 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque. That's pretty good. That's combined. Let me show you something though. This is an interesting powertrain. It is a hybrid, and you might be confused by hearing the term eCVT. It's not a CVT, continuously variable transmission. No. This is a very different powertrain. All right, so 2-liter, 4-cylinder engine. It feeds not one but two electric motors. Now the electric motors actually do quite a bit. There's a larger one, and that larger one powers the front wheels most of the time. And the smaller one assists the engine, works with regen, does a bunch of cool stuff. There we go. So, how does it do? Well, despite the power, this one gets really good gas mileage. Now, if you get the base models all the way up to the EXL, you can get 48 miles per gallon combined. This one gets 43 miles per gallon combined. Why? Let me show you the culprit. Cameraman, take 3 steps back. Follow my hands. Ta-da! Believe it or not, if you get the top of the line touring, and you get these 19-inch wheels, you get worse gas mileage. So, simple tip, if you want the best gas mileage, don't get the top of the line vehicle. It's a nice windy day today, which is great because I have an aerodynamic car that'll slice right through it. Aerodynamics are really important. But you know what else is important? Having power. This is an interesting engine because there's no real transmission per se that actually connects to the wheels. All the power pretty much goes through an electric motor to the front wheels, unless you're at higher speeds. There's a clutch that kicks in, and it kind of works like a 5th or 6th gear when you're on the highway, putting on the power, and it'll directly connect the motor to the front wheels as you're cruising along. And then if you need even more power, the electric motor will kick on again. You'll have maximum power at high speed. The cool thing is, this car, in regular driving, drives like an electric car, and as you guys know, with TFL, we do a lot of electric car driving, and that means you get immediate torque right off the line. It's really snappy in regular traffic. You hear that? Nothing to hear. It's because right now it's acting like an electric vehicle. It'll show you on the display what's going on with the car. So right now it's regenerating, and it's using a mixture of the smaller electric motor that's in there and regenerative braking to put power back into the batteries. Then when you lightly accelerate, like I'm doing right now, which is regular city type driving, it's just electricity, baby. When you push it, then the engine kicks on, the gas engine. Now, when that happens, there is a bit of a buzz. It sounds like any other hybrid. But the good news is, it doesn't happen that often. Some of the other hybrids I've recently driven, including Lexus, man, that engine's always on and always buzzing. This one's a lot different. Now, there is a little tiny bit of an electric whine. I think it's supposed to do that in order to let people know that there's a car coming so they can jump out of the way if they're able to hear. But here's the thing about this car. It's extremely serene, but it does one thing that Hondas do really, really well. It handles. Yeah, see, you can hear the gas engine now because I'm pushing it. Just that simple. It handles really well. It's extremely smooth. It's very quiet. I could drive this car for 6-10 hours, no problem, as long as I'm able to listen to my tunes, which is really funny because driving a car like this, you'd listen to yacht rock, you know, typical Roman, Christopher Cross, stuff like that. And in my case, heavy metal or punk rock just doesn't quite work for this car. So I would probably have to listen to love stations that my wife would like. But anyway, the point is that you can do that. Now that is an 8-inch screen, so it's not exactly what I'd call massive, right? But it's usable. I would prefer a larger screen. Really, in terms of everything inside this car, that is my only gripe. The other thing is this wood, it looks real, right? It's not real. And that's okay, as long as it looks good, right? The rest of the vehicle really does impress me. This is one of the best hybrid vehicles I have driven. And I'm Not kidding. I'm talking about from Lexus, BMW, Mercedes-Benz. This is absolutely up there on that list of excellent vehicles. Well done. All right, so if you're looking at this vehicle from almost any angle, it looks like a regular Honda Accord, and that's not a bad thing for most of you. I personally think that the Accord is good looking from the side. Not a huge fan of the front end design, but it's not ugly. It's just a Honda, right? Well, here's the good news. For those of you who are curious about the 2021, what makes it different than the 2020, they have upgraded a few things, including these. That's right, LED headlights now, baby. And if you look at the rest of the vehicle, other than the word hybrid right here, it's really hard to tell that this is a different vehicle from a regular Accord. Regular trunk, right? You would think that because it's a hybrid, it doesn't have any space. You'd be wrong. That is 16.7 cubic feet of cargo space, which is actually really good. And the rear seats fold, which is extremely helpful. So just like a regular Accord, plenty of space, which is great for long-range drives. I was thinking about driving to New York, just for the hell of it, when I'm allowed to do so. This would be the car to do it in. Let me show you this. So one thing I'm not thrilled about is the fact that there is no spare tire. This is basically what you get, an inflation kit. But if you slice your sidewall, you're out of luck. Now, one of my favorite things about the Honda Accord is the cockpit. I've always felt that it's one of the best in its class, and this is no different. They did a fantastic job designing a vehicle that I like, and maybe some of you do as well. And here's one of the reasons why. One of the things I do when I get into a vehicle to test it is I reach around places that I would normally touch. Dash, this area, doors, soft materials. That's extremely important. Now, when you turn this vehicle on, electric vehicle like, no engine note, unless it needs to power up the batteries, which in this case it doesn't really need to do. This whole setup here, well, it's, when you're reaching over as you drive, it's too small, okay? It needs to be a little bit bigger. That's really my only gripe. I like the fact that there are simple knobs, simple buttons, that's including the HVAC system. That's extremely important. This is cool, and this is why I brought my phone. Ta-da! That's an option. Wireless charging, baby. I love that. I don't love this. Right here. Yeah, so it's not that big of a deal. I know that some of you guys yell at me when I talk about this. I do prefer to have a gear lever. So, or gear lever, I apologize. Anyway, the point is that that's what I prefer. However, you know, we're not talking about a performance vehicle, right? So, easy enough to hit the buttons and do what you need to do to get going. Have to remember that if you want to go in reverse, you got to pull this down. Now, let me show you the best party trick of this car when it comes to passenger comfort. First of all, real quick, top of the line model. So, you have Apple CarPlay, which is wireless. You have Android Auto. All that stuff is there. And you have heated and cooled front seats. By the way, very nice feeling leather here. Let me show you the back seat. As you guys know, Nathan is large and in charge. I'm a big guy. But I got tons of space sitting behind myself. Very comfortable back seat. And even though it has kind of like a fastback-like design in the back, I have really good headroom. The seats are comfortable in the back. And with this trim, you have the outboard seats, this one, and this one. They're heated if you look over there on the door. Oh, and there's more. Air conditioning vents in the back. Not all sedans do that. Very good for long road trips. All right, so there are a few modes that you can select through, including an EV mode. And when you do that, the car will run at least at lower speeds in all EV. That is if you want to spare the gas engine. If you do this the right way, you can get even better gas mileage. There's an econ mode, of course, and that'll kill a few things, you know, in terms of air conditioning output and electrical output, but it'll also help the vehicle maintain more battery power to drive more efficiently. And there's sport mode. Now, here's the thing about the sport mode. It actually really works. You put it on there, the car is very springy, especially off the line. Doesn't really change the suspension or anything like that. By the way, in terms of 2021, a couple of things that they did is they did revise the steering, which has a much better weight to it. There's no steering feel really, but good weight. And they made it snappier, so it's better feel with the accelerator. So I have here the sticker. Sorry about all my notes, but what you can see here is the price. That's $37,435 right there. Now here's the thing. If you want to get the hybrid, the base model is $26,570, which is a bargain for what you get. That is some high-tech stuff for a relatively low price. Keep in mind, once again, it also gets better mileage if you get the lower trims. This one with the big 19-inch wheels, not as good, right? The bottom line is, this is a great road trip vehicle. It has an excellent ride, very good performance, fantastic economy even with the bigger wheels, and I think it looks pretty cool too, especially from the side. And in terms of it being a Honda and having good Honda tech, man, you just can't beat it. This is one of my favorite hybrid vehicles out there, and for those of you guys who want to cruise around, have a low carbon footprint, and at the same time a high quality car, I can't think of a better one. So hopefully guys, we'll be able to get out there, hit the road really soon, in a few months or so, and we'll have a good road trip car to do it in. Thanks for joining me guys. I'll see you next time.